Hi, Harvest Christian School fourth graders. This is Mrs. R coming back at you with some science video here because we're going to be reading. You'll need your big science book. We are going to be on page 66. Looks like this: poisonous plants. Dun dun dun. Oh, sorry. We're going to be reading about poisonous plants. Page 66. Are we ready, friends? Okay. Now, you may ask, why is it important to learn about poisonous plants? Well, just in case, people don't usually go around grazing in their backyard, but things can happen, especially if you have a brother like mine. My older brother, Frank, 4 years older than me. Yeah, I'll tell you a quick story. Okay, so we were sitting on the back porch one day in a nice springtime afternoon, and I kept hitting. Oh, wait, I better tell you how old I am. We were, I can't remember. I think we were about, I don't know, 10, I think, about your guys' age. I was 10, so that would have made my brother 14. So we're sitting next to each other on the porch, and I kept hitting him. I go, come on, hit me. Come on, hit me. And I kept hitting him. And he wouldn't hit me back, and he wouldn't hit me back. So I just kept hitting him. Come on, hit me. Come on. I kept hitting him on the arm. He wouldn't hit me back, but then he said, after like the 6th hit, he said, if you don't stop hitting me, I'm going to make you eat grass. Like grass in your backyard. I'm like, yeah, you won't. Oh, that's funny. Come on, hit me. So I kept hitting him some more. Yeah, next thing I knew, he grabbed me, poof, and threw me down on the ground, poof, onto the grass. And then he was big enough that he could sit on me, and with one hand he could hold my arms behind my head like this, and he still had a hand free because he could hold both of my hands with just one of his hands and still have a hand free. So here, next thing I know, he's getting handfuls of grass and is ready to shove them in my mouth, and I'm trying to turn my head like this. No! And then, wherever I turn my head, he's still trying to shove the grass in my mouth. Then I thought, I'll just show him. I'll clamp my mouth shut really tight so he can't get the grass in. So then guess what he did? He decided to plug my nose. So I couldn't breathe out my nose, and I had to breathe out my mouth. Then you can imagine what happened. I could only hold my breath for so long. Then I take a big gasp. Next thing I know, all this grass is going inside my mouth, and he's doing this to my chin to make me chew it. Yeah. But you know what? It really doesn't taste that bad. Really, cows eat it. It's got a lot of chlorophyll, right? The green matter in plant. It's got a lot of chlorophyll. So if you ask me what does grass taste like, well, the closest thing I can say is, have you ever had green tea? Like, not the mild kind of green tea, but the really strong green tea that has a real strong taste to it. Yeah, that's what grass tastes like. Green tea. So now every time I drink green tea, I'm reminded of the time, and that wasn't the only time. There were many times where I had to eat grass, but I kind of asked for it, but it's kind of fun anyway. If you have siblings, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you cannot go home and try this on your sibling. Do not do this. This is my, little public service announcement. Do not do this to your older sibling or your younger siblings. Be nice. But anyway, okay, so not that you're going to be going around, grazing in the backyard, hopefully, but and possibly ingesting a poisonous plant. But it's still good to know what's poisonous and what's not. Just so you know. Okay, so here we go. We're on page 66, Poisonous Plants 3.8. Follow with me. Scientists have estimated that there are well over 350,000 kinds of plants in our world, but no one knows for sure. Of all these plants, about 700 of the North American ones are known to be poisonous. That's a lot of poisonous plants. These poisonous plants are not just rare and exotic plants you would find in some deep, dark jungle or in the scientist's laboratory. Many of them grow in your own backyard or even in your house. It is very important that you learn to recognize them. Many produce foods that we eat, we just do not eat the poisonous parts. Well, that's a good thing. Ornamental plants that are poisonous. Ornamental means, the nice things you have sitting around in your house. Take a look inside your house first to see if you have any of these ornamental plants used as decorations that are poisonous. Many people have house plants called dumb cane or Dieffenbachia. Number 1. It has big green leaves with yellow in the center. It is a very beautiful plant, but do not let your baby brother or sister eat any of it. It would cause an intense burning in their mouth and a swelling of their tongue. That'd be bad. If enough of it is eaten, it could mean death. Yikes. Another favorite house plant is the philodendron, number 2. It is a long green vine with heart-shaped leaves that are green and yellow. Again, it is a very beautiful plant, but eating just one leaf can be fatal, causing death to a child. So, don't let your little brothers and sisters eat those plants. Garden plants. Now look outside your house. People have died from eating flowers, leaves, stems, or bulbs of plants like the hyacinth, number 3, and crocus. Even some of our favorite plants like azaleas, number 4, poinsettias, daffodils, irises, number 5, morning glories, wisteria, and mistletoe are poisonous. Berries. Many plants such as the daphne and holly, number 6, produce berries that are poisonous. It is never wise to eat berries from any plant unless you are accompanied by an adult who knows for sure that they are harmless. Neither should you chew on any plant or parts of a plant that you do not know that are harmless. Don't go grazing in the backyard like I did. Okay, edible plants that have poisonous parts. Rhubarb, number 7, is a very common garden plant used in making sauces, cakes, and pies. The stems are sour and good to eat, but you should never eat the leaves because of its poisonous leaves. Rhubarb is considered one of the most dangerous garden plants. Even an apple can be poisonous if you eat large quantities of the seeds. Who eats the seeds? I don't know, we shouldn't be eating them anyway. Tomatoes, number 8, and white potatoes, number 9, are members of the nightshade family. The leaves and stems of a tomato plant are poisonous. For many years, people would not eat the tomatoes, thinking that they were poisonous too. The leaves, sprouts, and soiled parts of the white potato plants are poisonous as well. Poisonous mushrooms. Another plant which may be dangerous is the mushroom, number 10. There are more than 38,000 kinds of mushrooms. They look like umbrellas, shelves, horns, balls, or cups. Some mushrooms are very delicious, but most are fatal. In fact, only about 1,000 kinds are edible, which means they can be eaten safely. It takes a well-trained person to tell the difference between the poisonous and non-poisonous ones. You should never eat mushrooms that you pick unless you are with a mushroom expert who says it is all right. We have a lot of mushrooms growing in our backyard right now because of all the rain, but we just look at them because you don't know if they're poisonous. You will find mushrooms in meadows, forests, and lawns, especially after it rains. The main part of the plant grows below ground. The part above the ground is called their fruiting body. Its job is to disperse spores or cells to make new mushrooms. A mushroom cannot produce food on its own because it does not contain chlorophyll. You're going to want to remember that. If it doesn't have chlorophyll, that green matter in plant can't make its own food. Therefore, it must get its food from something else. Most mushrooms live off of dead plants. That's why you see them growing off of logs and, down trees and things like that, because that's where it's getting its energy. Emergency medical help. If someone you know has swallowed the poisonous part of a plant, you need to get help immediately. It is important for you to stay calm so that you can think clearly. Yes, stay calm. If the person is conscious, you should call the Poison Control Center or your doctor if one of these numbers is listed at the front of your telephone directory. If you do not know either of those numbers, dial the emergency number 911. Or dial 0 for the operator and ask for the Poison Control Center. Tell the medical person who answers your call your name, your address, and telephone number if you know them. Well, you'll know your name, but you may not know your address you're at, of your location, and the approximate age of the person who has swallowed the poisonous plant. Carefully describe the plant. What color and shape are the leaves? Does the plant have flowers? If so, what color are they? How many petals do the flowers have? Does the plant have berries? If so, what color and size are they? If you are instructed that the person needs to see the doctor or go to the hospital, take part of the plant that's important. This will help the doctor to identify it. Knowing what plants is in your area or poisonous can be a great help in emergencies. If the person is unconscious, is having seizures, or is having troubles breathing, dial the emergency number 911. For sure, do that. You will need to state your name, the address, and telephone number of your location and the condition of the poisoned person. Do not hang up the telephone until the person to whom you are talking has had all the information he needs. In any emergency, it is important to stay calm so that you can give the necessary information clearly and accurately. Okay, here we go. Leaves of 3, let them be. Especially if you run out of toilet paper. You'll find out what I mean in a minute. If you were asked to name a poisonous plant, you would probably say poison ivy, number 11. It is a shrub or vine that climbs trees or grows along the ground. Its leaves are in groups of 3 leaflets, which may vary in shape from plant to plant. In its bushy form, it is called poison oak, number 12. These plants give off an oil when rubbed against. The oil causes an irritation to the skin that can make the skin blister. This oil can spread easily to the rest of the body. If you think you have touched poison ivy or poison oak, do not touch any other part of your body. Immediately wash the affected area thoroughly with soap and cool water. Cool water is important. Do not use a washcloth because it will pick up and spread the oil. Be sure none of the water touches any other part of your body, since that may spread the poison. When you finish washing, rinse the area with rubbing alcohol. You should also wash any clothing which may have oil on it, because oil on your clothes can get on your body. Putting a special lotion on the rash as it develops will help to relieve the burning and itching. Study the pictures of these poisonous plants so you will learn to avoid them. Remember, the shape of the leaflets may vary. The best way to recognize poison ivy or poison oak is to look for the groups of 3 leaflets and remember these. Leaves of 3, let them be. You see 3 leaves together? Don't touch. Tobacco, here we go. Another plant contains a poison that many thousands of people take into their bodies every day. This plant is tobacco, and the poison in it is called nicotine. Nicotine is a habit-forming drug. It can cause lung cancer, heart disease, and other illnesses. Because it is poisonous, nicotine is usually also used as a natural insecticide or insect killer. Poisoning by most plants can be an accident in which you have no choice, but you do have a choice with tobacco. You can choose not to be poisoned. God's word says in 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20, "What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not your own? For ye are bought with a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's." Determine today to keep the temple God has given you free of nicotine poisoning. It will be a choice you will never regret. Now you may wonder, what's nicotine poisoning and what's tobacco poisoning? I don't even know what that is. They're talking about cigarettes. Cigarettes, on the inside of cigarettes is tobacco. And in tobacco is nicotine, which is addictive. Same with vaping, same thing. It has the same type of chemicals in it, which are very hazardous. So those are some things you want to stay away from. Okay, it was great being with you, friends. See you later.